Everybody loves my pinwheel recipes. So today, we're gonna make my most viral recipe video, and that is my French onion steak pinwheel. We are gonna slice up onions and caramelize them just like French onion soup. I'm gonna add in some of the fun flavors that come with French onion soup into the onions. We're gonna make that into a pinwheel by rolling that up with some Swiss cheese. And then I'm gonna grill that all up and top it off with this incredible like cheese crust on the top of it. Let's get started. I'm hungry as I'm thinking about this. First thing first, caramelizing onions. I have this sick knife, Woodson knife. I got this in Spokane. Normally I don't go for things that are like, have a lot of color. I like black or white or wood, but the blue tinted wood, epic. Shout out Woodson Knife Co., you rock. Also, you have a sick logo. I don't know if you can see that. All right, so for caramelizing onions, you have to go get onions. You're more than welcome to use any type of onion that you want. I don't recommend red onions. I have some sweet onions or yellow onions. These are great. You could also use white. It's gonna be a little sharper, but caramelizing onions is gonna just make them sweeter and richer and darker. So I'm gonna slice this completely down the center. I'm gonna take off the root and take off the stem. So I like to take off, obviously, the complete outer layer because you don't want that. So steak pinwheels been around since the dawn of time, I guess. I think I first had them because my dad used to make them. At a grocery store, they would have them come pre-made as well. So I just love pinwheels because you can add cheese and you can add all kinds of other fun things. And so that was kind of the original start to my obsession with pinwheels. And then I added them in on social media and people just love them. And so I thought, let's make them really fun. This is how I like to make my caramelized onions. I'm gonna get them and slice them up just like this. So I'm gonna slice them top down, go slow if you don't have like crazy fast knife skills. I'm not a chef, but sometimes it's fun to see how fast you can go. Practice safe knife skills. Please don't cut your finger off. Hopefully I don't cut my finger off while we're on here. I like to slice them pretty thin. You don't want really thick slices. The thinner it is, the better. Mostly because they just caramelize better. So I have my cast iron skillet. I'm just gonna dump the onions into the skillet. Probably slice 3 of them. I might slice all 4. I will tell you this, caramelized onions, they reduce down so much. So just be aware you're gonna want a lot more onion than you realize. So I have my onions sliced up, ready to go. I'm gonna add a little bit of oil in here and then just a light coating of salt, pepper, garlic. Let's get the fire going. All right, let's dump the coals in. Let's drop the grill grate all the way down and let's add the cast iron on. Okay, so this is gonna cook for about an hour, and once it really comes to about the color of my cutting board, like that dark brown rich color, we'll be able to pull it off and start making the pinwheels. All right, so we've had our onions on for about 30-ish minutes. First, I'm gonna deglaze with a little bit of bourbon. I'm gonna add in a little bit of bone broth. This is just gonna help get all that fond off the bottom of the skillet. That's all the burnt crispy bits that's on the bottom. That's gonna give us all that flavor, that extra flavor that's down there. And then I'm gonna add in a couple more things. So I have minced garlic and some rosemary. And then I'm gonna add in just some brown sugar. This is just gonna add a little bit of color and some sweetness. And then I'm gonna let this cook for about 5 more minutes until it's darkened and all that liquid has dissolved. And then once it's done, we're gonna pull it off, let it cool off because we don't wanna start wrapping it into our pinwheels with it being super hot. It's gonna melt the cheese, it's not gonna work well. Gonna pull this off, let it cool for maybe about 10 minutes, and then we're gonna start working on these pinwheels. So I got some skirt steak. Let's build these pinwheels. So we have our skirt steak completely laid out. I have some wax paper. You could use parchment or whatever, just something that's not gonna stick. So like foil would also be potentially good. Got my Thor's hammer, Mjolnir. We're gonna smash the out of these. You talking to me? Smash. You said my cooking sucks? Smash. Like and subscribe. Do it. The point of this is to get them extremely flat so that they roll better. All right, so these are looking good. First, we have Swiss cheese. So I'm gonna lay this all flat. I like Swiss for this recipe because it's extremely neutral in flavor. It's not gonna add anything more than just some gooey cheese. let's add in the onions. All right, so we have our beautiful, beautiful caramelized onions. I'm gonna add them right into the center. Oh, dude, these smell incredible. Don't spread them out too much because they will spread out naturally as you are rolling them into the pinwheels. Also, don't overstuff them because these will spread out. So you don't want them to be like completely coming out of the pinwheel as you're trying to wrap them. So the key with this is you just got to get it super duper tight. So I'm gonna really pinch that in and really roll the pinwheel as best as possible. The onions will start to, there will be some that just don't make it in. That's fine. It's not the end of the world. Get it really tight. Make sure to push off the sides. It's okay. It's not gonna look super duper pretty at first, but they're gonna look great once they're cooked. And boom. So we have them set, ready to go, completely rolled. So let's tie it out. So I have butcher twine that I've been soaking in water. This is just gonna help it have a little bit more strength and it's not gonna completely burn when we're grilling them. I'm gonna split this in half. So I wanna tie these guys as if they're in the middle of each half. Look at that. Pretty good. We can make it a little bit tighter, so we're gonna do that for the next one, but these look pretty great. And then from here, I like to just clean up this backside. Beautiful. And then let's roll this guy up. Beautiful. Alrighty. There we go. Now that we have these all set, let's season them up. I'm just using a little bit of oil and some salt, pepper, garlic. All right, I'm gonna get all the sides. Beautiful. These are ready to go on the grill. Let's add these guys on. I'm gonna let them cook for about 7 to 8 minutes per side or until they're about 120 internal. But make sure when you're probing to get that internal temp like all the way in the deepest part because it's gonna be the thickest. Okay, so our steaks are done. We're gonna let them rest. Let's work on this cheese crust. All right, so in this bowl, I have Gruyere and Parmesan freshly grated. I'm gonna mix together with that a little bit of seasoning, some salt, pepper, garlic. Then I have melted butter. Add that in. Mix this around. I'm gonna add in some panko crumbs. This is just gonna help everything stick together. Mix that all together and kind of get it to a place where it's kind of like wet sand is kind of what we're looking for. I'm gonna add a little bit onto the top. If you don't have a torch at home, you can do this in your broiler, in your oven. Another fun way, this is like the cowboy way, is you can get some foil, put it over the top, and then you can add coals on top and it will, it'll brulee it. All right, now I got my torch. Just torch this guy up until it's crispy and bubbling. All right, so we have these guys ready to go. Crust is looking great. Let's slice into them. Make sure to take off the twine so you don't eat that. Bam, look at that. Juicy, cheesy, oniony. It doesn't get much better than that. All right, I added a little bit of greenery on there for vegetables. This looks incredible. Let's take a bite. Look at that. Mamma mia. That was a big bite. That was really good. Oh my word. That is incredible. It has a little hint of sweetness from the onions, but that cheesiness comes in. The steak is perfect. It's soft, it's tender, has a beautiful crust with that cheese crust on top. 10 out of 10, so freaking delicious. Make sure to go and check out how to make this recipe in the description link below. You can go and check out some of my new seasonings like cowboy butter. It would go epic on this. Go and make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment below on one of your favorite steak pinwheel recipes that I've done or one that you want me to try. Stay so freaking delicious. Cheers. All right, I'm having more. Anybody want some? All right, cut.